Hello album cover designers, today we will be learning about the art of the album and think about if I were to design an album, what would it be about, what would my songs be, and what type of artwork I would create for it.
What makes a good album cover? Most people will probably say it's up for interpretation, or that's a personal preference, and it is. However, most album covers stick out in some way because of how they look and what they bring into the album experience. I think album covers or album art is one, if not one of the best forms of art to ever exist. In this video, I'll try to explain what I think makes a good album cover and why. Colors, spelled the English way. Any amazing album cover has a great color scheme in my opinion. So like for example, Because the Internet, The Big Day by Chance the Rapper, which got absolutely slammed by critics, and personally, I disliked it a lot. But the album cover. I remember when they announced the art, I thought it was amazing. It looks fun. The color palette is super earth tony, and it gives off some super good vibes, which sadly the music doesn't match. Composition. I think composition has a lot to do with use of space or negative space. A Thriller cover does something else by having Michael Jackson lay on the floor by putting him into the rule thirds, which is a concept where you divide the screen into 9 equal halves and displace the subject into one of the 4 points in the square. This is supposed to create more tension and energy within the picture. Thematic. The theme of the album shows how the artist envisioned you to interpret the album. In this instance, I want to bring up Flower Boy by Tyler the Creator, which is described as a car ride with many references to the subject. His then owned McLaren car can also be seen in the background of the cover. According to Genius.com, Tyler's vehicle of delivery throughout the album is just that, his car. Tyler uses driving as a metaphor for his journey through life. Feeling. What did the cover make you feel when you first saw it? Because who really cares what other people think when the art is in the eyes of the beholder? Because the Internet by Childish Gambino pops out as an iconic album cover because of what I associate the album with. It opened my eyes to a whole new world of hip hop music and styles that I didn't know existed. It reminds me of the summer of 2017, where I started getting really excited about music and the art surrounding it. I always go back to this album and the cover just stands out to me as Donald Glover's face looks so menacing, while the colours in his Hawaiian shirt look so bright and uplifting, which I think fits the album perfectly.
Today's learning target is I can design an album cover with a theme and medium of my choice. Hello album cover artists, today your job is to create an album. You're going to design the artwork and maybe even think about possible song names. What we would like you to do today is to start thinking about themes and produce a few sketches that are going to help guide your artwork. You're going to use Seesaw today to help document that process, and you have a few things to think about. The first thing you want to think about is, what is your theme? Musicians often talk about themselves, they talk about their experiences. Sometimes they are personal experiences, sometimes they are experiences that everyone can relate to. I know that, for example, Ariana Grande, when she wrote the song Breathin', it was about her facing her anxiety, but I think it's a song that a lot of people can relate to. So think about the theme. Is it going to be about yourself? Is it going to be about others? Is it going to be about your story in life? So maybe it's about a time period in your life, maybe when you were a kid, or maybe what it's like growing up and learning right now in the pandemic. Thinking about, if I were to represent, what if the Earth was an album? What would that look like? In honor of Earth Day, Then you're going to start thinking about possible song names. Once you have a theme, it's probably going to be a lot easier to think of your song names. Or you may be like, oh, I've had this song name, or I've had this kind of phrase stuck in my head forever. Let me build something around that. So also start documenting some songs. Typically an album has it can have anywhere from 8 to 20 songs. An average album has about 10 to 15. You're also going to tell me how you are going to create it, as well as produce some sketches. So maybe you're going to take a photograph similar to Childish Gambino. So think about how you're going to set up the shot. What types of materials will you need? Are you going to take it at home? Are you going to use a photograph you already have? Now, we shouldn't be taking other people's photography because that is called copyright. So if you want to produce your own photograph, you know, oh, I have this really awesome photo I took last year while I was on vacation, or I have this something, maybe it's you want to use a childhood photograph. There are a lot of musicians who do that. So think about how you're going to take the shot, and it has to be a shot that either you've taken or it's someone in your family that's taken, if it's like going to be something from your childhood. Maybe you're going to produce a drawing, or maybe you want to do everything digital. Then here is where you're going to do some sketches. You're going to grab your sketchbook, or if you want to sketch digitally, that's fine too. But start drawing some thumbnail sketches to tell us, to kind of show us what you are going to create. So it's good when it comes to album art to come up with at least 3 ideas. That way you can pick from the best one. You guys know Miss Beck goes here when she starts her artwork. I like sometimes having stuff written down to refer back to. So I wrote down teaching, especially during a pandemic. I wrote maybe I wanted to make my album cover about mental health because I think that is super important, and also just existing. You know, as you know, you can talk to anyone in your life. You can talk to your friends. What's it like to be you today? What's it like to be a 6th grader? What's it like to be, you know, maybe all the different song names or different things that are going on in your life, such as Nintendo Switch, or going on bike rides, or Among Us, or all the TikTok trends. I started by drawing out some squares that I could put my artwork in. I drew 4. We would recommend at least 2 to 3. We talked about symbols when we did the logo design project. Think about symbols that you can include to help tell the story or theme of your album. For the first one, I drew a bunch of storm clouds and it's raining masks because I thought that was a good symbol for how this year has been. You can always write notes to yourself to help remind you of certain things, like maybe you want to do a photograph instead of a drawing. Also think about if you want to include text to help tell the story of your image. You may not need any text, you may just be simply doing the imagery itself. Once you got a few ideas, you are welcome to upload your pictures to Seesaw, and if you have time, you can start even working on the final sketches and designs.